Wait, if that was you on the phone and you on the bus, then who was flickering the lights? Nosferatu!
It's history's greatest monster!
Hurry up, quick! The spooky season is upon us, and there's quite a bit we have to talk about, and I'm already 2 weeks late into the month, but trust me, I'm gonna do a whole bunch of Halloween-themed videos just because I have to. I freaking love this season!
Would really not be screaming that at the top of your lungs.
What was it, 3 weeks since my last video on canceled Cartoon Network movies? Looking back on that video and pretty much every single video that I've made before has made me realize that it's time to switch this channel up a bit. You know, kind of change with the seasons. So let's try something new. Consider this the start of season 2. That means new bumpers, new editing style, new logo, new Juju. I mean, this whole video is pretty much just a tech demo for what I can do now. And what better way to kick off season 2 than by airing out Nickelodeon's dirty laundry? Over the past 3 decades, Nickelodeon has made over 37 theatrical movies, which is the complete opposite of Cartoon Network, who stands at a whopping 2 theatrical films. While Nickelodeon carried in the numbers game over a wide variety of theatrical films with different themes, genres, and some that probably should have been left on the shelf, what about the films that actually didn't make it to theaters? The ones that were actually left to sit on the shelf or maybe even lost to time? Well, grab your snacks and lobotomize your babies, because these are just a few of the canceled and or lost Nickelodeon/Nicktoons movies.
It's not what we look like or where we're from that matters. The thing that makes us hideous is what's inside of us, and inside Judy is.
Real Monsters was one of Nickelodeon's more interesting series in the 90s. Or at least I assume. I wasn't born yet, but from 1994 up until December of 1997, these characters terrorized children of all ages. The end of the decade and the millennium were upon us though, and most of the earlier Nicktoons were beginning to be phased out and forced to wrap up. Real Monsters would be no different, becoming another victim of the all too well known 52 episode rule. But just before hanging it up, the show's creators, Klasky Csupo, planned on ending the series on a much bigger scale. They supposedly wanted to give the series a new movie. It isn't exactly clear if the movie would have been a final send-off to these characters or if it would have been more similar to Hey Arnold's theatrical movie.
I'll buy you breakfast, we can talk, they have a special.
But after being given the green light, Klasky Csupo began production. 1998 rolled around and things were looking to be going forward. Until it stopped. Apparently, Nickelodeon wasn't such a big fan of the direction the film was going in, with some online claim of people saying that Nickelodeon thought the film was just too dark. So the trail went quiet and the supposed film was slowly forgotten by most. But something must have slipped through the cracks, because 11 years after the movie had been pulled by Nickelodeon, fans of the original series started to make claims that not only did the movie exist, but some had claimed to have even seen the film. Initially, this type of online buzz would be an immediate eye roller and be written off as some made up crap some nostalgic millennials went spreading around the break room. And most TV listing sites had it listed as unaired. But on the other hand, TV.com said that the movie did air on a random Sunday at 9:30 p.m. Which makes this whole thing even more confusing. This isn't the first time a TV guide has accidentally incorrectly listed something, like the time they listed the Rugrats episode Chucky and Susie, along with the date it was set to air before Nickelodeon inevitably pulled it. Then of course there's also the fact that Nickelodeon went off the air at 9 p.m. every Sunday for Nick at Night. Or at least that's what the TV guides tell me. Either way, those claims brought life back to the Our Real Monsters movie. The search for this possible lost film was starting to get real, as more and more people would come out claiming to have seen pieces of it, if not the whole thing. Yet not much of anything has been found since. The official wiki for the lost movie has a link that led to another TV listing along with possible plot details deeper within its pages, but when I click it, it was yet another dead link. The longer this search went on, the less people believed that this thing ever existed, as there just wasn't much to show for it, and with no VHS rip or even any sliver of plot detail, the verdict for most people was that this was never anything more than a fib. In 2016, a fan of the series was able to finally contact someone higher up within the Klasky Csupo Animation Company and ask about the film, and they were told, to no one's surprise, that no such film was ever in development, debunking the rumor for good.
How humiliating.
Tommy, Chucky, Phil, and Lil and Susie. It's a rug rat from under the mat. It's a rug rat. It's a rug rat rat. It's a rug rat from under the mat. It's a rug rat. It's a rug rat rat.
1991 birthed Nickelodeon's most successful series at the time with the Rugrats, and their popularity would skyrocket, making Nickelodeon the go-to destination for cartoons, or as they like to call them, Nicktoons. The Rugrats, along with Doug and Ren and Stimpy, were the most successful things to happen to the network, but even those two couldn't compete with the Rugrats as a brand. This led to the Rugrats being pushed everywhere. TV shows, specials, video games, toys, but most importantly, their success on the small screen gave Nickelodeon the confidence to put the babies on the big one.
Ready for something big. Really big. It's the biggest event in Rugrats history. The Rugrats movie, coming Thanksgiving 1998.
The Rugrats movie became the first animated movie to hit $100 million at the domestic box office, so Nick making a sequel was already a foregone conclusion. The downside to that was, with every sequel Nick made, the box office results only dropped. So heading into the 2000s, it was becoming clear to Nickelodeon that the Rugrats' time had run its course, leading to the cancellation of the series in 2004 and the scrapping of any future movie plans.
You're just gonna leave them like that, aren't you? The red blocks are all mixed with the blue ones, and the squares are with the triangles, and you don't even care! You really don't care!
That was until 2013. One half of the original Rugrats creator pitched the idea to Nickelodeon for a fourth Rugrats movie titled Rugrats in Space. There isn't much known about the plot besides the babies probably being in space or maybe even imagining themselves in space, but it was said to be the most heartwarming story ever told. So Dill probably dies like that one ginger from the Magic School Bus. The film obviously never went forward. Rumor has it Nickelodeon was more in favor of bringing it back as a series first to test the waters before committing to another Rugrats film. That series would be worked into the CGI show we got in 2021 on Paramount+.
Special is coming to Nickelodeon.
Is that the coolest thing you've ever saw? No, that'd be my belly button farts.
Which was quietly removed from all streaming platforms. And by all, I mean one, being Paramount+. But after being quietly removed, the show has now resorted to only airing reruns on the Nicktoons network, which is basically the equivalent to an animation cemetery.
It's a 1-hour Rugrats special, next Friday night at 8 on Nick.
So you'd think that Rugrats test was a failure, but despite the failure of the reboot, Nickelodeon still had plans for a theatrical movie. A live-action Rugrats movie. Originally slated for release on November 13th of 2020, audiences everywhere were about to become victims of adult actors interacting with CGI babies. The film's release date was then pushed back to January 29th of 2021 before being taken off of the release schedule just one day before its original release date. Why the film was taken off of its release schedule isn't really known, but I personally speculated that it was the backlash to the weird CGI hybrid idea, while others speculated it was the backlash with Sonic's original design for his film, because both of them were made by Paramount. Well, it looks like we were both wrong, because just 3 years after canceling it, they've announced yet another live-action CGI baby Rugrats movie yet again, and it's almost certain to be the cause of future vasectomies all around the world.
Nicktoons, kids, zombified.
Hey, this might actually be my first time addressing you as Juju. I just wanted to talk with you all about the changes with the channel. That means new bumpers and backgrounds, new transitions, and even fan art that will be placed right here. Along with that, I also have a Discord you could join to talk all things animation, fan fiction, and post your fan art. Please feel free to comment any video, future suggestions, or topics you'd like to see with the channel going forward.
Nicktoons, kids, zombified.
Happy? Everyone wants to be my BFF. Happy? Hello? This is awesome!
Happy birthday, whoop-dee-doo, whoop-dee-doo. May your day be pleasant. Open up your present just for you, just for you. Happy birthday, Happy birthday, whoop-dee-doo, whoop-dee-doo.
People who sing like that should be drug out into the street and shot.
Boy oh boy, I sure do hate Mondays. I'm aware Garfield isn't technically a Nicktoon, but it was listed as one of many canceled Nickelodeon movies, and he's orange, so I'm gonna include it anyway. Garfield has been around for about 40 years now. There isn't much of anything that Cat hasn't seen. From comic strips to TV shows, then animated specials to live action movies, he's even graced the cover of lasagna boxes and had his lifeless body hollowed out and turned into a cell phone. At one point in time, Garfield was the world's favorite cat. You'd be hard pressed to find a studio who wouldn't give an arm to use him. Yet sometime around the 1980s and 1990s, Jim Davis would present many studios with the idea for a film entitled Garfield's Judgment Day, only to be turned down by every network he'd pitch it to. The story would have supposedly been about a dangerous storm heading straight towards Indiana, which is where Garfield lives. Unlike other Garfield stories though, where he could be lazy and stumble upon a solution to solve whatever problem he had that week, or Garfield teaming up with friends to try and actually fix the problem they were met with, this time, they'd be completely powerless. There's nothing that can be done to stop a storm, no matter how dangerous. So Garfield would propose a solution. And the only solution that he could think of would be to gather all the animals and break their code of silence by directly speaking to and warning their owners. Jim Davis wanted this special to be his magnum opus, the crown jewel of the Garfield franchise, his most ambitious project yet. The writing and storyboarding for the special had already been completed, along with 15 minutes of animation being finished, and everyone's voices were already recorded as speculated by the Lost Media Wiki. That included multiple songs for the special. Yet Disney found the subject matter too dark for the character. It's weird. The film is on the canceled Nickelodeon Films wiki, but the Lost Media Wiki states that it was being distributed by Disney. Yet as far as I've known, I've only ever seen the character air on Cartoon Network, so this film is already all over the place, along with Garfield as a character in general. But since I've already researched and written most of this, we're just going to include it anyways. But after Disney turned the film down, Jim Davis was determined to find a way to make the special work. So he'd go right back to the drawing board, or writing board in this case, and try to rework the film twice, but to no avail. Disney or whoever was distributing it were dead set on the film being too dark and depressing for the lasagna-loving cat. So the film was flushed away, not to be seen, heard, or mentioned until 1998, where CBS would make a documentary for Garfield entitled Happy Birthday Garfield. In this special, they talk about their appreciation for Garfield over the years. This included showing a clip of the voice actors in the studio performing one of the songs from the special we'd ultimately never get to see.
No beds to make.
No bills to pay.
Yeah, every day's a holiday. We got it good, and that ain't bad.
years later, seeing that Garfield's Judgment Day was never going to get a chance to be animated, Jim took things into his own hands and decided to release it as a picture book under the same name. And that was the last we'd ever heard from the storm that hit Garfield and his friends, as Jim Davis would put down his writing pen in the later end of that decade, leaving our imaginations only to imagine what could have been.
No dates to keep. We wake up slow, we eat, we sleep. We got it good and that ain't bad. We live our lives like simple folk. Why fix a thing if it ain't broke? We got it good and that ain't bad.
No worry of security, you to maturity. We do as we please. No headache, no tension, except the occasional pain.
Ain't no love my man, shoo up, ain't no love my man, shoo up, ain't no love my man, shoo up.
Finally! Now for a canceled film that I actually know is a Nickelodeon film. The sequel to 2001's Jimmy Neutron Boy Genius entitled Jimmy Neutron and the Search for Carl. Supposedly written by Kate Baudelaire of Rugrats in Paris, Rugrats Go Wild, and the Wild Thugberries fame, people often forget just how big a success Jimmy Neutron's movie was. Correct me if I'm wrong, but Jimmy Neutron Boy Genius is one of 2 Nickelodeon films to ever be nominated for an Oscar. To put that into perspective, Jimmy Neutron was being put on the same level as Monsters, Inc. and Shrek at the time. So of course that opened the doors for Nickelodeon to justify a sequel following Carl. Plot details are scarce and will probably remain that way unfortunately, but this seems to be the case where Nickelodeon just wasn't sure how to move forward.
What?
It seemed the network had 2 options on their hands. One was they could go forward with the sequel, or 2, they could go forward with the Adventures of Jimmy Neutron series. Ultimately, they would end up going in favor of the series, and the film would never see the light of day. Unlike the Rugrats, who had both things running concurrently. Some rumors say the network didn't want to spend money on making a movie on top of an already airing television series when audiences just could watch it for free at home. With the difference with this and how they did the Rugrats being that the Rugrats were already an existing brand before going theatrical, and for their first outing they broke box office records, but as parents started to notice Nickelodeon's efforts to further profit off of them, less and less people were leaving their houses to watch something they could already watch on their couch. Rugrats the movie made $141 million at the box office, followed by Rugrats in Paris, which made $103 million, which then led into Rugrats Go Wild, which sharted the bed at a whopping $55 million worldwide, proving to Nickelodeon that they are better off releasing one-off films rather than trilogies that dwindle in both quality and box office profitability. You could say that's the same reason SpongeBob's sequel never came off the shelf. I mean, why put the effort and money into a formula that just wasn't working? It didn't work with their most popular franchise at the time of their release, so why spend the money on a theatrical sequel when you could just use the first film to advertise the new series? Now clearly the Nickelodeon of today is far different from the Nickelodeon of the new millennium. But if one of the higher-ups at Nickelodeon ever wanted to bring back Jimmy Neutron, this would be the perfect way to do it. No aging up, no reboot, no changing the formula. Just a simple Jimmy Neutron adventure where we search for Carl. But until then, I suppose we'll have the first movie to look back on and appreciate for all of its weird CGI and pop culture soundtrack.
Slap, 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 clap, 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 slap, 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 clap, clap, clap.
Get ready to scream. Get ready to howl. Get ready for Shriek Week. Prepare to be ghostified. A whole week of terrifying TV.
Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh.
With post-hunting premieres of SpongeBob.
We're ghosts!
The Truth.
Boo!
Penguins. True Jackson.
Get out here, demons.
And Glenn Martin.
Oh, yeah!
Plus, catch a treacherous troop marathon, an eye-popping iCarly, and much more. Horrible things. So be here to sink your teeth into a week that will make you shriek! Shriek Week starts next Friday at 8. Only on Nick. big.